Hi, I'm Andy Bush, host of Voice America's Engage. I'm at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square with CEO Dennis Gallagher from Student Transportation, Inc. One of the areas I know that you're looking to grow is the TSC component of your company. How do you plan to expand the logistics and management services that you provide?
Well, TSC is actually Transportation Sector Consultants, and it's a company that we acquired in California that was a consulting and management company.
Okay.
And it's a new piece to our business, the most recent acquisition that we've had. It is something that I think is going to be a little bit different than the core business, because it's actually anti-core business. We're actually going after the 10,000 school districts that still want to own and operate their own fleets. And when we look at TSC, we're going to bring our kind of expertise to those school districts. And in that case, we really don't want to convert you. We really want to help you convert the thinking of your operation. So we want to help make your operation more improved. From a safety, from an operations, a maintenance point of view. We can deal with all kinds of issues that quite frankly, school districts haven't looked at as a business.
So let's discuss that for a second. I mean, what are the obstacles for schools and school districts as they look at perhaps converting from public fleets to private fleets?
Number one, in my 38 years of being in this business, it's labor. A lot of school districts are an employer,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think our school board members in those towns feel obligated to the folks within the town. And it's kind of funny because when we do a privatization, generally 100% of the bus drivers come and work with us.
I was going to say, it makes perfect sense for them to do so, right?
Yeah.
They want to do it, right?
Yeah, and it's part of what I like to call the public-private partnership and things that we get involved in together, where we need to work better with these school districts. And it's not so much like, hey, we just do not want to contract out our transportation service. And that's thus the TSC model. Okay, well then we've got some services that we can sell you.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if there's a public-private partnership that we can do together, in other words, we have tremendous access to capital, very cheap capital. We've got great purchasing power, but we've got issues with facilities. It's hard to get a bus yard approved in a lot of towns and municipalities, but the school district has a bus yard.
Right.
So let's work together. Let me use your facility. Let me use your fuel tanks. You can help buy the fuel with us, okay, or for us, and deduct it from our invoices. So there's a lot of public-private partnerships that we should be doing a lot more of.
Yeah, that's interesting. In the United States, obviously, there's a skeptical nature as we look at our government, and then public-private would be great because you get the best of the private sector using the facilities that are already there. So it makes a lot of sense. But what sectors of the United States really does this look like the greatest opportunities to have this conversion?
Well, if you think of the map of the United States, literally from Virginia down to Florida and across to Texas, 99% of school districts own and operate their own fleets. And by the way,
wow,
it's the oldest fleets in the nation are in some of those states.
Right.
So the transformation has got to come.
Well, what are the risks for these school districts that they manage their own fleets? I mean, you mentioned the age of their fleets. But what are some of the other risks that they have besides that?
Well, I think the risks are that this is a business, so they've got to look at things like fuel.
Right.
They've got to look at purchasing equipment. They consider themselves that they have to go out and do a bond offering when they're going to do a big capital raise.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the kind of stuff that, again, that we can take away from them. We can help them with that kind of thing. So I think those are some of the challenges that we need to do a better job at getting on the table.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Well, let's talk about your fleet a little bit. How old is the fleet? How many buses do you own?
Well, currently we operate about 12,000 vehicles, okay? We own literally, about 20% of our fleet is leased and about 5% is what we call managed.
Okay.
And we're actually growing the managed side of the business in this new public-private partnership that I've been out proclaiming to a lot of school districts when I speak at conferences and things like that. And that's the ability for us to be able to go in and lower a school district's cost by using their vehicles, using their fleets, and using their facilities, but using our expertise. And that's kind of worked out great. So our average age fleet right now is about 5.7 years, which is absolutely the lowest of any of the major operators in the industry. So it shows that we're constantly replacing, we're keeping up the new innovation, the new technologies are coming in. It's great for driver retention because we've always got new equipment coming in. Drivers always love to have the new vehicles coming in. Now with the new clean burning fuels, we're re-educating our drivers on driver training, how to operate that bus, which is a little bit different on how to operate the diesel bus. So there's a lot that has to go into this.
Well, let's shift gears again a little bit. Let's talk about your School Wheels programs and how's that been working out for you? When did you institute that?
School Wheels started a couple of years ago. It was a district in Duval County, Florida, which is really Jacksonville, and they decided to let 5,000 kids go and literally not transport them anymore. If 5,000 kids go, you know, it spurs my interest really quick. Jumped on it and said, hey, why don't, to the school, why don't you let us communicate directly with those parents? Why don't you let us have an opportunity to talk to them? So we did. We were able to put routes online. We were able to go down, you know, develop a system very quick, and we picked up 1,000 kids out of the 5,000. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's only 20% of the parents actually took the service to get on board, which means 4,000 kids were being transported in cars to the schools. It's that many more cars on the road. It's that much more pollution. It's that much more congestion. So for every one bus they took off the road, 35 cars got put on the road. And so this is the kind of thing that we can do a much better job. You know, parents think, well, it's the safest way for me to take my kid to school in my own car. They're actually wrong. The safest way, according to the National Traffic Highway and Safety Administration, is to put your kids on a school bus, because that's where the iconic yellow school bus with its yellow and red lights, certified driver, is the best and safest way to get your kids to school.
Oh, that's great. All right, thanks, Dennis. If you want more information, please go to the company's website, ridestbus.com. Thanks for watching.